Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. We at Motivation Works bring you a list of some awesome motivational quotes which will definitely have a positive impact on your life, just like they did on thousands of others too. By the way, before we move forward, make sure you hit the subscribe button since we upload awesome content every day, and you don't want to miss out on that. And don't forget to like the video and comment your thoughts below. What kind of video should we do next? Number 15. You've got to bumble forward into the unknown. The unknown is a scary place, which is why so many stay in their comfort zones. But the unknown is also where all the fun things in life are created. You have to venture forth, and this quote reminds us that it doesn't have to be pretty when it happens. Bumbling and stumbling is fine as long as you're leaving the familiar behind and pushing forward. You may stub your toe or bump into things, but it's better than remaining still and staying in your safe places. The better you get at being comfortable with the unknown, the more successful you should become. Number 14. The harder I work, the luckier I get. It's easy to equate success with luck, but that is often not the case, and those that are seemingly lucky have put in the hard work to get that way. Luck has been described as the moment when preparation meets opportunity, so you have to put in the work to get prepared for the time when opportunity comes knocking. You may have opportunities presented to you, but you are not prepared to capitalize on them, and therefore you cannot take advantage of that lucky moment. Put in the work, and the opportunities will come and you'll be ready for them. Number 13. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. It always seems like something's just not right in order to start something new in your life. But the timing may never be perfect. You just have to get started so things can begin to develop. You make things right as you go along, and you tinker with the process to account for what's not perfect. As things pick up steam and build momentum, you'll realize that the just right thinking was just an excuse to delay the start or procrastinate. You'll thank yourself for starting even though it seemed like it wasn't the best time to do so. Number 12. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Imagine there's a door marked fear, and behind that door is all of the things you wished for all of your life. You try and open the door, but it's locked. The key is overcoming that fear so that you can have the things you want and be the person you've always wanted to be. Fear is a tricky demon to exercise. It's different for each of us, and it isn't always a very strong feeling. It's sometimes a low-level vibration, that slight underlying feeling of dread that bubbles up when thinking of doing something new or venturing into the unknown. Number 11. A year from now, you may wish you had started today. What things did you start a year ago that you're glad you started back then? If nothing comes to mind, it's high time you start something today that you can be proud of a year from now. If you've already got something in the works, project things out a year from now and imagine how excited you'll be that you already got it going. A year is a long enough time to see some real progress in your efforts, and you are often enjoying the fruits of your labors from a year ago or more. Start something today if you don't have any irons in the fires. Number 10. It's never too late to be what you might have been. As long as you're alive, it's not too late to become the person you really want to be. No matter how bad you might have screwed things up in the past, or no matter how far off course you've gotten from what you really want to do, you can always turn it around. It doesn't take an overhaul in most cases. You can start taking steps towards being what you might have been today. Start implementing little actions into your daily routine to make up for the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Number 9. There are no traffic jams along the extra mile. Not many people go the extra mile, which makes it easy for the rest of us to get to where we want to go. They say it's lonely at the top, and this is because few people ever make it that far. Going the extra mile is part of that process, and it's a habit you can start getting into right away if it's not currently part of your makeup. Try it out on a small scale in your personal relationships or at your current job. As you make it a habit, you'll notice more and more opportunities to go above and beyond, and you'll be able to accomplish more and more. Number 8. Do what you can where you are with what you have. This is a great way to look around you and see what it is you can do with the resources you have on hand right now. Don't say things like, "If I only had this," or "I need to do that before I can do that," as these are just clever ways of putting things off to a future point that never comes. The fact is, there are things that you could be doing right now that will further your endeavors. Work on those and everything will start to fall in place. You'll be where you need to be, and you'll have what you need to have to get bigger things done. Number 7. The road to Easy Street goes through the sewer. It is often enticing to dream of Easy Street as having finally made it. But John Madden reminds that it's no picnic getting there, and you have to pay your dues. Things do become easier, but you may have to put up with a lot of stinky situations before getting there. Most people will give up before getting there and spend too much time in the sewer, thinking that Easy Street is just a pipe dream. But the unpleasant parts are just a way of weeding out those that really want the prize from those that only talk about wanting. Number 6. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Struggle often feels like a lack of progress, so it's nice to turn it on its head and realize that it's actually the way progress is made. If you're not struggling, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. The important part is not to let struggle deter you from making that progress. Step 1 is learning to view struggling as a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Then you won't be so hard on yourself if you find that you're struggling again. It just means that you're learning, growing, and taking on enough to keep you busy. Number 5. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. You can use your fear to point you in the direction of what is most important to you, rather than being hard on yourself for feeling that fear in the first place. If you aren't afraid of doing something, it generally means you don't find it very important or you wouldn't have that fear. In this way, fear can help us drill down to the things that we simply must do. Part of that is going to entail getting over that fear or learning to live with it so that you can still get the things done that need getting done. Number 4. To avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. It's easy enough to get people to criticize you. Just try something, say something, or be something. Most are at home criticizing what others do and say without offering their own opinions or actions. That's why it's silly to worry about getting criticized. What you should really worry about is not being criticized, because that means you're not putting enough of yourself out there to face the criticism. Over time, you'll be able to brush off criticism that has no merit and learn from the criticism which can help you grow. It's hard at first because your feelings might get hurt from the initial onslaught, but it does get easier. Number 3. The more I want to get something done, the less I call it work. Work can be miserable and tedious, or it can be a task you look forward to accomplishing each day. The choice is yours, and if you want to shift your thinking on it, try to develop a strong desire to get it done. This will make it seem more like a game than work, and it will give you a strong sense of accomplishment when the day's tasks are complete. You may even feel like you didn't really do any work because you really wanted to get it done. Trudging along doing work that you don't particularly like can be stifling, so work on wanting to get it done. Number 2. Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. If you like watching movie previews before a film, you may like the idea of your imagination acting as your own sneak peek of what to expect. That's because you dream it up in your brain first before it happens. This can work to your benefit, but also to your detriment, so be sure to use it advantageously and imagine your life the way you want it rather than the way you don't want it. If you aren't actively using your imagination, you'll grow stagnant, and you'll notice that your life hasn't really been improving or worsening, just kind of hovering in the same spot. Number 1. Do what you love, and the money will follow. They say you should think of what you want to do when you retire and start doing it now. That way you'll know that you're doing something you love, and if you do that long enough, you should be able to start charging for it. Going after the money is not a good method because you'll typically end up doing work you don't really enjoy just for a paycheck. If you're stuck at a job you don't like, make sure that you're doing what you love in your free time so you can eventually replace that income.